Okay, good morning everyone. Okay, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu. Iya, thank you. First of all, I would like to say my gratitude to the ITEL and also British Council Indonesia for inviting me here to stand in front of you all with a good health. And yes, I'm still going to share, as like Pak Jati said previously, that here it is a conference, but it is a place for us to share together our experience, our ideas, right? And here I would like to focus on the feedback strategies, and it's gonna be our experiences also in our department, that is English Language Education Study Program, and yes, feedback strategies. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we have already experienced the transformation, okay, before and after pandemic, in which we have ever taught our students in an offline mode, and then it was transformed into online mode. But then we are also familiar with what's so-called by blended learning. And finally, we try to give our best sharing to our students by the hybrid learning. There are many terminologies, ya. Ada banyak sekali istilah-istilah begitu ya yang dipakai, dari hybrid, kemudian hybrid flexibility, kemudian ada juga blended, and so on and so forth. We have already been there, and right now we are in this situation. Ya, kita sekarang ada di saat yang mana we have already learned a lot from the pandemic. Okay, we can call it blessing disguise mungkin ya. Kalau dulu kita nggak mau misalnya harus mengajar lewat online, full online, kita nggak mau. Sekarang keenakan ya Bapak Ibu ya, enak ya ngajar online ya. Nggak perlu mobilisasi ke kantor, udah di rumah aja sambil ngomong, sambil masak-masak kalau ibu-ibu ya. Atau yang bapak-bapak sambil mancing, itu udah bisa gitu ya. Tetapi itu tadi, mau nggak mau sekarang kita udah kembali ya. We have been back to the, we are not in the endemic ya, sudah masuk ke level endemic. But then what are we going to do with this situation now? Kira-kira kita mau ngapain? Apakah kita mau kembali ke zaman dulu yang offline, all of the things are conducted in online learning, or what we will do for that? Now, my question, what have we learned from the pandemic times in relation to the feedback strategies, Bapak Ibu? This topic seems simple, but actually it is very, very meaningful. Sometimes we forget. We have already played with many technologies used in AI, VR, but sometimes we forget about the feedback that we should give to the students to see their progress, to see their performances. Now, I would like to hear from maybe one of you to share your ideas about what we have learned from the pandemic times. Anyone would like to share the ideas? Maybe any one of you? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sure. Bu Eka. Okay. Yes, using the microphone. Yeah, it's on already.
From the pandemic, I think we can learn new apps because I do believe that before the pandemic, we never think about having or trying to find some apps, but then because of the pandemic, I think we have to say thank you to the pandemic because of the pandemic, because of the pandemic, we can find so many apps that we can apply in our classroom. I think that's something that I can get from the pandemic. You see that there is a disguise
Yep.
behind something happens in our life.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's all, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much Bu Eka. Give applause to Bu Eka from Universitas Negeri Jember ya Bu. Oke, ya Bu Eka juga salah satu sahabat kami di ITEL. And yes, we learn a lot from it. Okay, and we are lucky ITEL is here, busy is here, because ITEL has already introduced us to many technologies used, no matter it is from AI, VR, or whatever. There are many, and we learn a lot from it. Okay, from this side, thank you, Bu Eka. From this side, anyone would like to share the knowledge, your ideas, probably your experience, what you have learned so far after this pandemic times? Anyone? Maybe from this side? Yes, Bapak. Oh, using the microphone.
I think there is a problem with our nation right now, especially with the background of the student itself, because there is a difference amongst, province Indonesia.
Yep.
For example, the facility is different from Java Island, Sumatra Island, or another east there. So
Exactly.
when they are learning from their place, we have a difficulty because of the link of internet itself and another
Yep.
facility.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two is the background of the student itself.
Yep.
For example, I don't know how many students do we learn now in the secondary or primary, on college or university. You see? So where there is a link, by using the internet, there is a problem.
Yep.
That's the thing point that we have consider right now, how to solve that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Bapak. Mohon maaf, where are you from, Bapak?
Universitas Advent Indonesia Bandung.
Universitas Advent Indonesia. Wow, give applause to Bapak. Siapa namanya? Bapak Roni. Okay, thank you. Yes, that's a big problem at that times when the pandemic attacked. Yeah, we see that Indonesia is a very large country in which there are many provinces spread out in our country, and yes, that's a big problem related to the internet connection. Yes, Colm, want to say something?
Thank you very much. My comment would be what I've learned or what I've seen during the pandemic is that when our students are online, you can't really see them, right? You're at home, they're at home. Sometimes their cameras are switched off if you're in Zoom. So I think, in a sense, it can be more difficult to see your students, like, are they paying attention? Are they learning? How do I know? Because they're not in the classroom. So it's more challenging in that way. But on the other side, if, for example, you have a quiz using an app and all of the students are logged in and they all have to answer using technology, then you can quickly see your best students because they answer the questions quickly, and the weaker students who don't answer, maybe they're not paying attention, they're asleep. So it's kind of got pros and cons. I'm still not decided exactly. Obviously when you're in the classroom, you can see everybody, but are you getting feedback from everyone? So I don't know, there are pros and cons for me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a challenge, another challenge of the online learning, yeah, in which if it is offline, yeah, we can see their expression, we can see their, probably their difficulties in learning, we can see from the facial expression especially. But when it turns out into online learning, yeah, sometimes, yeah, we can see it by the Zoom, but we do not exactly know because there is no direct interaction from the students. And that's a challenge. And by the way, Bapak Ibu, we have already experienced that, right? Kita sudah melewati hal-hal itu, dan sekarang apa yang dirasakan? I think you get more knowledge from it, right? You get more lesson learned from this pandemic. Yeah, we are lucky. We are lucky. As Bu Eka said, blessing in disguise. That's it. Okay. All right, Bapak Ibu. I want to move to another slide. Yes, related to the feedback. So we go back to the feedback as like Com said that we cannot see their expression. We cannot see what actually their difficulties is, but we can still, check their progress in learning by some applications that maybe tomorrow the ITIL board will share to you about some applications that we can use in a low bandwidth and also in a high bandwidth. But we try to give you the ones which are simple and also feasible. So it will not consume much, data plan for the internet connection itself. Yes, go back to this feedback again and again. So this is also something that the educators must pay attention. Pak Jati has already discussed this a little bit about the feedback itself. That sometimes I found out, so sorry to say, Pak Rektor, my colleagues in a university sometimes, okay, I would like to give the materials to the students, and that's all, and stop. That's what's called by online learning. But actually, online learning is not like that, okay? Online learning should still give feedback to the students, right? And that's sometimes that we missed. I believe Bapak Ibu yang ada di sini sudah mengajar dengan baik ya. Feedback itu selalu diberikan kepada siswa, but sometimes we forget it. Yeah, maybe it's because of our burden or it's because of loadnya ya, your workload which is very very high and whatever itu. Tetapi again and again we would like to refresh our mind about how to provide constructive and meaningful feedback that we believe it is challenging, isn't it? Tantangan gak sih Bapak Ibu memberikan feedback itu? Yes, why? Siapa tadi yang yes? Bu Eka lagi ya? Okay, why we call this consuming? We can go to the next slide. Yes, because feedback should be like this. It's educative, it's given in timely manner, it's clear, and it's motivating. That's it. Ya. Jangan sampai feedback yang kita beri adalah feedback yang, it can drop your students' mentality. Yeah. The first one is educative, right? Students know which one is right and which one is incorrect. I think we know all of this, definition, yeah. It means after we give the feedback, the students will know, oh, my work is not correct, or my work is incorrect, and so on. And then the next one, given in timely manner. I found this very challenging anyway, because, Bapak Ibu, you teach many students, and then you will give them all feedback one by one, and it's gonna be, very challenging. This is also still my challenge, right? Because we have to give them in timely manner. Okay, the sooner the better. And later on, we will see how some application that can help us to provide a feedback. The next one, it's clear. It is easy to understand. So sometimes I found, when I was a student, I found my lecturer only comment me with question mark. Do you know what does it mean? Apa itu artinya? Jadi ada tulisan, kemudian saya cuma di komen question mark. I don't know what it means, right? Apakah Bapak Ibu juga pernah memberikan seperti itu? Ya coba we try to reflect ourselves ya. Di sini I don't mean to teach, but we try to reflect ya. Kita mencoba untuk merefleksikan diri gitu. Because feedback is part of learning, reflection. Yeah. And the next one, motivating. So try to encourage your students. All right, try to encourage your students, and then use comments to teach rather than to justify the grade. What I experience from my students is my students always expect to receive my feedback than the score. That's something that I appreciate from for my students. They always wait for kapan mem feedbacknya instead of the score. I mean, they don't really think of the score. No, I also always focus on the process. I will give you feedback and then try to fix it, try to improve your performance. That's it. So try to motivate, and it will give more valuable output for your students. Okay, next. This is an analogy anyway about feedback itself. So it's like layers of sandwich, in which how to give a constructive and criticism sandwich or feedback itself. So at the top one, that's the testiest way to give to learn member feedback. So the first one here, you can still give some positive comments. Remember, don't just go directly to the negative one, karena kita biasanya kayak gitu ya. Yang dilihat itu selalu negatif, ya nggak sih? Ketika ada yang salah, langsung yang dilihat yang salahnya. So, because we are an educator, try to build up our students' motivation first. Try to give them some positive comments first. Try to praise them. Try to give them compliments. And finally, we come to the middle one by giving them criticism. Okay? So, criticism here is to see which parts that should be improved. Nah, kayak gitu. And last but not least, you still need to try to build up their confidence, their performance, because we believe that every single person is unique. Every single person has positive things, right? So try to think positively with your students, and also try to give constructive feedback. Next. This is what I say previously, that feedback for teachers are something to do which is very time consuming. Do you think so, Bapak Ibu? Ya, Bapak Ibu kalau biasanya memberikan feedback itu langsung hari itu juga atau nanti-nanti? Ada yang langsung, ada yang nanti-nanti ya, ntar aja deh setelah ini, setelah pulang aja, dibawa pulang ke rumah gitu ya biasanya ya. Nah, this is, I also agree with this, that's time consuming, but somehow it will go back to us how we can manage our time and how we can put some strategies to give our students corrective or constructive feedback. But for students, they will, there are many perspectives from the students, whether it is valuable or it is not easy to understand. We do not know, but we try to give our best to give constructive feedback to the students, although it is time consuming. The next one. Nah, talking about time consumption when we are giving the feedback, which one is taking longer time to provide, Bapak Ibu? Written or audio feedback or the spoken feedback? Which one? Written, especially if we teach some writing courses or some writing skills, yes, written feedback is quite time consuming. But somehow, you can still manage it with the audio actually. Later we will see. The next one. Yes, providing audio feedback is quite efficient for the time. You can use Vocaro. Anyone here ever use Vocaro? Yeah, that's good, Ibu. Thank you. And yes, Vocaro is quick and easy, and it doesn't take much bandwidth. So, Bapak Ibu kalau misalnya mengajar gitu ya, no matter it is writing or speaking, you can use this, you can install this, and it's quick and easy. That's also what we did, what we do also in our teaching and learning in PBI UMBY. Most of our lecturers also use this Vocaro to give the students feedback in our voice. The next one. Screencastify. Anyone familiar with Screencastify? Bukan orangnya ya, not the person there. Bukan fotonya ya, Bapak Ibu ya. But the Screencastify. Mudah-mudahan Bapak Ibu still focus on this. Okay, so Screencastify is also easy to install. It's a light application also, nggak berat Bapak Ibu, so you can make use of this. And you do not need to share the video, but the G Drive link. It's different from maybe some LMS or learning management system that we have, but here you do not need to download probably the recording of the lecturers, no, but you can just open the link. You can just ask the students to open the link itself. So that's Screencastify, but still it is a voice or audio feedback. The next one. Yeah, WhatsApp audio messenger, or you are familiar with voice note, yeah? You can feel that every day you will always touch your headphone and go to the WhatsApp, right? So it's already there in your handphone, so you can make use of it. So Bapak Ibu, if you think that my phone is already, full, the storage is already full, so I cannot download other applications, so you can use what actually you have already had. And we are pretty sure our students also access the WhatsApp, so why not you use it to give feedback. And the last one is, next. Yes, Google Docs. I use this in my writing class, and I found this very, very helpful and meaningful to give, especially the written feedback. So the students can asynchronously check their work, whether the lecturers have already given the feedback or not. So somehow it also can promote the peer feedback. So the other students who have got the link can access and also give comment to each other. The next one, that's an add puzzle. So this is also an instant feedback that we can give to our students. It's interactive, and we also can create a virtual class. We also do this, maybe if I may share to you in our study program in PBI, we also, nurture or ask the students to be able to use this. And fortunately, our students are familiar with these kinds of things, so they are able to make use of technology in the teaching and learning. And not only that, Bapak Ibu, because I also teach for PPL, mungkin Bapak Ibu ada yang familiar dengan program pengenalan lapangan or micro teaching. We are lucky to have, more generations to go after us. Ketika kita nanti sudah menua, guru-guru yang sekarang sudah familiar dengan teknologi-teknologi seperti ini. So they will not only play with them, but they know the meaning of the technology in the teaching and learning process. The next one. Yes, Bapak Ibu, remember technology is, I can say, a tool to help us. But anyway, the control is still with us as a human, right? Because the tool is also created by the human itself. So remember, using technology is not enough, but we have to think what we can evaluate from the tools itself, from the technology itself. So think about this, feedback, and feedback. So before we teach, we need to think where I'm going, what are my learning intentions. So it's about the objective. What's our goal in teaching and learning? Okay, so feed up first with it, and then try to transfer it to our students. And the next one, feedback. How am I going? What does the evidence tell me? So feedback here is important as our reflection. Again and again, feedback is our reflection. Whether we have already taught our students in a good way or not, whether our students have already achieved the learning objective or not, we can see from the feedback that we give to them. And last but not least, feedback is the last, that is where to next. So as we said previously that feedback is a reflection, so we need to think what we will give for the next session or for the next meeting after all of the evaluation. So we can see our students' progress and we can evaluate the way we teach, the strategies we use, the method we use, and so on. The next one, yes. Embracing new technology and promoting peer feedback during offline or online face-to-face class be like. This is what we did actually before the pandemic, but we can explore more from the pandemic itself. Okay, so we are lucky. We know ITEL here and also business. So the last one, yes. Now it is time to reflect to ourselves. We have been through all the situations in the teaching and learning. We found it easy. We found it hard sometimes, but try to reflect. And this one, what have we learned from the hard times? Okay, silahkan direfleksikan Bapak Ibu, silahkan di internalize. So we can see, I mean like how far we have been through, and then yes, I can do this finally. Okay. Dari yang dulu tidak terbiasa, sekarang sudah menjadi biasa, then what next to do? So I think that's it for me. Thank you so much, and I return it to the moderator. Thank you.